Good afternoon and welcome to Midday News. I'm Ashwarya and these are the headlines. 39 Indians abducted by the Islamic State in Iraq confirmed dead. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj makes statement in Rajya Sabha. Congress says it will want discussion in the House on the matter. Blame game over stalemate in Rajya Sabha. Centre reiterate it is ready for discussion on all issues. Leader of opposition says government not reaching out to political parties to end impasse. House adjourned for the day amid sloganeering. Lok Sabha proceedings are washed out again today. Speaker adjourns House for the day after disruptions over several state issues. Sushma Swaraj unable to make a statement on Indians killed in Iraq in the lower house. Supreme Court rules that there shall be no immediate arrest of public servants in the cases under SC/ST Act, says arrest only after the approval by competent authority. And President to confer prestigious Padma Awards to 43 distinguished personalities. Music composer Ilaya Raja, Hindutva thinker Parmeswaram, and several unsung heroes to be honoured today. First up, news from Parliament. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj today informed the Rajya Sabha that 39 Indians abducted by the Islamic State in Iraq are dead. Making a statement on the issue in the upper house, she said that there is confirmation that 39 bodies that were exhumed from a mound in Badoush in Iraq are that of the missing Indians. She stated that the DNA testing has led to the identification of 38 as being of missing Indians and that 70% of the DNA matching of the 39th body has also been done. Sushma Swaraj said that the exhumed bodies will be brought back to India on a special plane and Minister of State for External Affairs V.K. Singh will travel to Iraq for the same. The Indian construction workers, most of them from Punjab, had been abducted by the Islamic State group from the Iraqi city of Mosul.
There is one important information to be shared with the Parliament by the External Affairs Minister, Srimati Sushma Swaraj. Earlier, she has given an assurance to the House, and today morning she met me and also sent me a request letter. I discussed with the leaders who met me. They all agreed. We will just hear her because it's as per the promise.
हम सब जानते हैं कि वर्ष 2015 के जून महीने में इराक में हमारे 39 भारतीय ISIS के द्वारा बंधक बना लिए गए थे। इस विषय पर बहुत बार सदन में चर्चा हुई। पिछली चर्चा राज्यसभा में 27 जुलाई को हुई थी। 27 जुलाई 2017 को आदरणीय बाजवा जी ने शून्यकाल में ये विषय उठाया था और अगले दिन मैं अपनी ओर से जवाब देने के लिए सदन में आई थी। उस समय जो मैंने कहा था मैं पढ़ना चाहूँगी। मैंने कहा था कि जब तक मेरे पास कोई सबूत उनके मारे जाने का नहीं है, मैं उन्हें डेड डिक्लेयर नहीं करूँगी, मैं उनको मृत घोषित नहीं करूँगी। उपसभापति जी उस समय कुरियन जी पीठ पर थे। बिना सबूत के किसी को कह देना कि वो मर गया, ये व्यक्तिगत तौर पर पाप है और सरकार के लिए गैर जिम्मेदाराना है। इसलिए ना तो मैं गैर जिम्मेदाराना काम करूंगी और ना ही मैं पाप करूंगी। लेकिन जिस दिन एक भी सबूत मिल गया और पक्का सबूत मिल गया तो बिना देरी किए अगर संसद का सत्र चल रहा होगा तो चेयर से अनुमति मांगकर कार्यवाही रुकवा कर यहाँ जानकारी दूंगी और अगर सत्र नहीं चल रहा होगा तो 10 मिनट के अंदर ट्विटर पर सारे देश को जानकारी दे दूंगी। आज मैं अपनी वही वचन पूर्ति करने के लिए आई हूँ। आज मेरे पास दोनों बातों के पक्के सबूत हैं। पहला कि हरजीत मसीह की कहानी सच्ची नहीं थी और दूसरा भारी मन से कह रही हूँ वो लोग मार दिए गए हैं। 38 लोगों का DNA मैच हो गया है और 39वें का DNA 70% मैच हुआ है क्योंकि उसके माता पिता कोई नहीं है। तो डायरेक्टली माँ बाप का सैंपल नहीं है, क्लोज रिलेटिव का सैंपल है, लेकिन वो भी उन्होंने कहा कि प्रोसेस इज अंडर वे, हम इसको ख़त्म नहीं कर रहे, दोबारा देखेंगे, क्योंकि वो DNA बोन से निकाल रहे हैं, हड्डी से निकाल रहे हैं, बहुत जटिल प्रक्रिया है।
And leader of the opposition, the upper house, Ghulam Nabi Azad, said that the confirmation of the death is unfortunate. He also said that the opposition will press for a discussion on the issue, considering the centre's earlier assurance in the house.
सर, सबसे पहले जो सुषमा जी ने बताया, ये बहुत ही दुख की बात है। पूरा देश इस दुख में उनके परिवार के साथ है। हालांकि हमें पिछले साल इस सदन को आश्वासन दिया गया था सरकार की तरफ से पूरी तरह से कि वो जीवित हैं। इसी सदन
चर्चा का विषय नहीं होना चाहिए।
नहीं, चर्चा नो सर
प्लीज,
लेकिन हकीकत
यू आर वेरी एक्सपीरियंस, आई नीड नॉट इवन टेल यू आल्सो, प्लीज
आई एम जस्ट सेइंग द रेफरेंस, इसलिए कभी न कभी उस पर भी चर्चा होनी चाहिए।
And the Rajya Sabha also observed a 2-minute silence in the memory of the Indians killed in Iraq.
बहुत दुखद समाचार है पूरा देशवासियों के लिए। As a mark of respect to the memory of those Indians who got killed in Iraq by ISIS, we will observe 2-minute silence. I request the honorable members to rise in their places and observe silence.
All right, we have with us Akhilesh Suman, my colleague, joining us live from the newsroom for more on this story. We'll also have with us Mr. Neeraj Srivastava, former ambassador. He's on the phone line with us. So thank you both of you for joining us this afternoon. First, coming to you, Akhilesh, it was last year in the month of July that Sushma Swaraj had made a statement about the 39 Indians who've been kidnapped in Iraq. But then she had said that, she cannot really confirm unless and until she has the proof. But today, the confirmation coming in by the External Affairs Minister today in Parliament.
Yeah, naturally, it was very natural that you cannot declare anyone dead unless you have any proof. And that is what External Affairs Sushma Swaraj had told many a times, either in the Parliament or before the media. And now that she has gone, you can say that Indian whole bureaucracy, whole political system has gone through very rigorous task of finding the proof of their death. And you know that they got the body exhumed from the mound, and then penetration radar was used to see that whether the body is there inside the soil, and then it was verified by the DNA sample of the relatives and the nearest kins and kids of the people concerned. So it was a tedious process, as far as, and that, but this was necessary because there are so many issues of inheritance of the whole lineage that when a person is dead, you need so many formalities to do. And now that formalities might be done because now there is a confirmation that yes, they are no more in the world. But V.K. Singh, the State Minister for External Affairs, will visit to Iraq by a special plane within 2-3 days. We have asked him, so he tells that it will take 2-3 days because there are some formalities to be done. And then he will take the flight back, and then he will go to Amritsar, where most of the dead bodies are there, 31 from Punjab and 4 from Himachal Pradesh. And after that, the flight will go to Patna, where 2 bodies are there, and then to Calcutta, where 2 bodies will be given to the nearest kin. So this is one of the very saddest story of this new year. But the best part of it that the government could confirm that yes, we got the confirmation that yes, they are no more. So I think that it is really something that what commitment Sushma Swaraj has made, it is fulfilled, and now it is up to everyone. I think opposition wants some discussion. There are some questions in their mind. So it's now it's formalities and all other things. But yes, today is the day that yes, confirmation has come that 39 people who were missed, now they are no more. Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Mr. Neeraj Srivastava, former ambassador, is also with us on the phone line. Very good afternoon, Mr. Srivastava. But it is a very sad day because the External Affairs Minister today made a statement in Parliament. She has confirmed that the 39 Indians are indeed dead that were kidnapped by Islamic State in Iraq. But speaking about the formalities, Mr. Srivastava, how does it go from there? Because, India has been seeking the help of the Iraqi authorities in finding these missing Indians.
Yes. There are certain, there is a procedure which is laid down in case of death of an Indian national abroad, which the Indian embassy in that particular country has to follow. And that procedure involves, several steps like confirmation that the person is dead. Then an officer personally visits, and sees for himself the body of the person concerned, and so on and so forth. And our mission in Iraq, in Baghdad, will be taking these steps.
All right.
To complete the necessary formalities. But there is just one point I would like to make here.
Yes.
Is that, Mosul was one of the big centers of the Islamic State.
True.
And in its anti-Islamic State drive, the U.S. Air Force had carried out very heavy bombing on Mosul, including in the civilian areas, because a lot of these IS fighters were living in civilian areas. As a result, in fact, the place was almost flattened.
Yes.
And as a result, several thousand innocent civilians, Iraqis, died in that.
True.
And in fact, there was some international criticism of that also, that was it really necessary to flatten the whole city, because the civilian deaths ran into maybe more than 10,000. And a similar thing took place in Al-Raqqa, which was the caliphate headquarters of the Islamic State.
Yes.
Except that in case of Raqqa, the Russian Air Force was also involved and the Syrian Air Force was also involved, in addition to the US Air Force. There again, hundreds, if not maybe more, 1,000 of innocent civilians were killed.
Right.
So this is, this is the background. I think it is important to give this background also.
Right.
That why these 39 Indians, why were they killed? I think they were killed because the whole city was flattened by aerial bombing by the U.S. Air Force.
All right.
That is the reason, and it is regrettable. And I think we need to be aware that also, it is very tragic that these 39 Indians have died. But we must also think for a few minutes about the tens of thousands of Iraqi innocent civilians, maybe 10,000, maybe nobody knows the exact number.
True.
Who have died in this.
All right.
We shed a tear for them also.
Absolutely.
But for the families of these 39, one's heart goes out to them, because this was not what was expected.
Absolutely.
But I have given you the political background.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Srivastava, for joining us this afternoon. And Sushma Swaraj also said that the MOS, Mr. V.K. Singh, will now go to Iraq and he will get the bodies back to India. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, also for joining us from the newsroom. And addressing the House amid protests, the leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad said that the House must function as the opposition wants discussion on the banking scam, special category status and the Kaveri issue. He said that the leaders of 10 opposition parties met in the morning and they were unanimous in their decision that the parliament must function. He blamed the centre for the stalemate in the House, saying that the government has not made any effort to talk and resolve issues.
10 political parties, opposition parties met in my office.
You made your point.
That is Congress.
I'm happy that you made your point.
BSP, SP, DMK, NCP, then CPI, CPIM,
you made your point, please.
GMM, and we want that the House should function. We want discussion on 3 subjects. We want discussion on the bills.
Right.
We want also the government business to be transacted in addition to discussion on these 3 issues.
Thank you,
and I request the government, should engage themselves with all these political parties.
Thank you.
No effort has been made by the
Ramesh.
government so far to talk to these political leaders to sort out the issue. So the government is responsible for the impasse because they have not taken any effort to solve this impasse in the House.
And Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the centre was open to hold a debate on all issues, including on the scams which happened during the UPA rule. MOS Parliamentary Affairs Vijay Goyal also said that the government has worked only for development in the last 4 years and was not afraid to hold any discussion.
Scam, including the scam happened during the UPA government. We want all to be debated, sir. We also want all the business out, sir. Therefore, the government is open. Let them cooperate. Every issue we are going to have a debate, sir. That's our very clear offer. Honorable the leader has said, other house has said, we are open for debate on all the issues, including on the bank scams.
कर देना चाहता हूं कि सरकार सदन में पहले दिन से हर चर्चा के लिए तैयार थी और उस समय चेयरमैन ने जब रूलिंग दी कि 176 के अंदर बैंकिंग इरेगुलरिटीज बैंकिंग फ्रॉड के ऊपर चर्चा शुरू होनी चाहिए तो सारे कार्य को स्थगित करके हमने कहा अभी से चर्चा शुरू होनी चाहिए चाहे वो कावेरी का मामला हो स्पेशल स्टेटस का मामला हो मैं समझता हूं लीडर ऑफ द हाउस ने पहले दिन से यह स्पष्ट कर दिया किंतु आज पहली बार मैं देख रहा हूं कि एलओपी खड़े हुए हैं और चाहते हैं कि सदन चले तो मैं इनको आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि वे चर्चा को शुरू करने दें सरकार चर्चा के लिए हर विषय पे हर टॉपिक पे हर इशू पे तैयार है चर्चा करने के लिए चाहे वो कोई विषय हो इस सरकार ने मोदी सरकार ने 4 साल विकास के काम किए और भ्रष्टाचार पे लगाम लगाई है और इसीलिए हमको किसी बात का कोई डर नहीं है हम चाहते हैं आप कोई भी विषय हो उस पर चर्चा शुरू करिए हम करने के लिए तैयार हैं
But the protests in the House continued with the members raising slogans and placards on various demands leading to the adjournment of the House till Wednesday.
This is that side, this side and all. The House stands adjourned to meet on 21st March morning 11 a.m. Wednesday.
All right, let's go to my colleague Kriti Mishra, who's joining us live from Parliament. Kriti, Rajya Sabha adjourned for the day today as well, and Chairman Naidu was also not amused, saying that when both the government and the opposition are ready for discussion on any issue, then why are the members protesting?
Well, that's right, Aishwarya. So the opposition, the united opposition today accused the government for not reaching out to the opposition parties, saying that it was the responsibility of the government to run the House. In fact, outside Parliament, also Leader of Opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad and many other opposition leaders held a press conference wherein they actually thanked Chairman Venkaiah Naidu for making a concerted and sincere effort to break the impasse. But they again accused the government of not reaching out to the opposition parties. So the government has on earlier occasions as well has clarified that it is ready to discuss all the issues. In fact, it has said that every issue that the opposition parties have raised under the permissible rules, under whatever rules the chairman allows, the government is absolutely ready to discuss all the issues. Now, in fact, that remains to be seen how things pan out, Aishwarya, because if all the sides are in concurrence, it is difficult to decipher where the problem lies. So again, we saw that there were disruptions, there were protests, so the House was adjourned till Wednesday. So now let's hope that some kind of truce is worked at and some kind of the stalemate is broken so that important and crucial bills could see light of day in the House. Aishwarya?
Right. Kriti, you stay with us because we need to talk about the lower house as well, because the Lok Sabha was also adjourned for the day following protests over different issues by several parties. In the morning, as soon as the session began, some members raised slogans over several issues, and even as sloganeering continued during the question hour, Speaker Sumitra Mahajan adjourned the House till noon. And even after the proceedings resumed at noon, protests prevented Lok Sabha from conducting business. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj started to speak about the Indians in Mosul, but due to unabated disruptions, Speaker Sumitra Mahajan adjourned the House for the day. And the adjournment meant that the 3 no-confidence motion against the Narendra Modi-led NDA government also could not be taken up today as well.
I request all of you to go back to your seats. ये अच्छी बात नहीं है. आप संवेदन भी नहीं के मेंबर अपने हिंदुस्तान के लोगों के लिए भी संवेदना नहीं है। ये कैसी राजनीति? ना दो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन करना है तो भी तो जाना पड़ेगा। किसी भी बात पे आप सहयोग नहीं कर रहे हैं। प्लीज गो टू योर सीट। आई एम सॉरी, द हाउस इज नॉट इन ऑर्डर। आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू ब्रिंग द notices before the House. The House stands adjourned to meet again on Wednesday, the 21st March 2018 at 11 a.m. I'm sorry.
Let's go back to Kriti now. Kriti, now the Lok Sabha also being adjourned for the day, meaning that External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj also could not make a statement on the status of 39 Indians in Iraq, and also, the no confidence motion also could not be taken up.
Well, that's right, Aishwarya. The logjam prevailed in the Lok Sabha as well, and we again saw the replica of what happened yesterday. Because the House was not in order, the Speaker could not take the no-confidence motion moved by the TDP and the YSR-CP members. So, in fact, yesterday also the Speaker had clarified that it was a constitutional responsibility. Today also she urged all the members to cooperate so that important things in the House could be taken up. In fact, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj could not also make her statement. Since this impasse prevailed, these motions could not be taken up, and of course this crucial statement could not be made on the floor of the House. Aishwarya?
Absolutely. So third week of the second half of the budget session, and no business really seemed to be being transacted in both houses of Parliament. Thank you so much, Kriti, for all those updates from Parliament there. Let's get to some other news now. The Supreme Court has said that there shall be no immediate arrest in cases lodged under the SC/ST Act against public servants. Now, taking note of the misuse of the stringent Scheduled Castes and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act against the government servants, the Apex Court said that a preliminary probe by an officer not below the rank of a deputy superintendent is a must before arresting a public servant. The Supreme Court also said that there is no absolute bar in granting anticipatory bail in cases lodged against the public servants under the SC/ST Act. The bench, which passed a slew of directions, said that a public servant can be arrested in cases lodged under SC/ST Act only after the prior approval by a competent authority. All right, let's get a perspective on this story. Amritanshu Rai, my colleague, is now joining us from the newsroom. Amritanshu, the Supreme Court saying that there shall be no immediate arrest in cases lodged under the SC/ST Act against the public servants. What does it really mean? What are the ramifications of this order?
So you have to understand the perspective the SC/ST Prevention and Atrocities Act brings in. So the attempt by the government was to protect the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribe, and in order to protect them to really not be subject to atrocities and prevent all that activity, they had drawn out a very stringent law which doesn't allow any kind of bail or anticipatory bail once the accusation has been made against you. So all a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe person had to do was go file an FIR, and then the person would be put behind bars. And over the years, this act was misused several times. So this is one of the cases that traveled from Maharashtra to the Supreme Court, and the judgment came out today. The judgment clearly lays down 5 things, and these are exceptions that the court has carved out and which will from now onwards will be the law of the land. So these are the exceptions which will apply to the Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe Prevention of Atrocities Act. And they are no absolute ban against grant of anticipatory bail, which means now the courts will have to go into and see whether bail can be given or not. Earlier, bail could not be given. Second is arrest of public servant without sanction from the appointing authority. Earlier, there was no such relaxation.
All right.
They had to be action had to be taken against them, and they had to be detained. So now there is an exception that the appointing authority will have to give a sanction before they are detained.
Absolutely.
For non-public servants, also the court has clearly said that the SSP, the highest police officer in the district, will have to give in written sanction against all civilians. and only after the sanction has been given can the person be detained, and following that, the magistrate will have to then scrutinize the sanction and ensure that the detention is not without reason.
Absolutely. So the Supreme Court really taking note of the misuse really of the SC/ST Act. Thank you so much, Amritanshu, for all those updates there on that story.
Thank you, Ashwara.
And a noted music composer Ilayaraja, literator P. Parameswaran and 41 other prominent personalities will be conferred with the prestigious Padma Awards of 2018 by President Ramnath Kovind in the national capital today. Here is a report.
43 persons will be conferred the Padma Awards for 2018 by President Ramnath Kovind at the Rashtrapati Bhavan today. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his ministerial colleagues will also be present at the event. This year, 84 recipients have been selected for the prestigious awards. This includes 3 Padma Vibhushan, 9 Padma Bhushan and 72 Padma Shri awards. The awards to the remaining 41 persons will be conferred on the 2nd of April. This year, noted music composer Ilayaraja will be conferred the Padma Vibhushan. Musician Ghulam Mustafa Khan will be honoured with the Padma Vibhushan. Literator P. Parameswaran will be conferred the Padma Vibhushan. Among the Padma Bhushan winners this year are Hindustani classical musician Pandit Arvind Parekh, singer Sharada Sinha, cricketer M.S. Dhoni, billiards player Pankaj Advani, and historian R. Nagaswamy. Ace badminton player Kidambi Srikanth will be conferred the Padma Shri. Among the 72 other Padma Shri awardees are wildlife conservationist Romulus Whittaker and social activist and researcher couple Abhay and Rani Bang. Keeping its promise of honouring unsung heroes, the government has this year honoured several personalities who served the poor, set up free schools and popularised tribal arts globally. The awards are announced on the eve of Republic Day every year. They are given in different fields and disciplines such as art, literature and education, sports, medicine, social work, science and engineering, public affairs, civil service, trade and industry. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And that's it in this edition of Midday News. But news and updates continue on your channel. Thanks for watching.